Good morning, it is early October, it is a cool, crisp morning, and we're about to do a road trip which we haven't done for quite some time now, all the way down to Los Angeles. We are not flying. We had planned to drive before the US federal government shut down, but I'm kind of glad we're not flying given that apparently there's chaos at the airports. I haven't been able to verify if that's actually happening or not. But when we drive on a road trip, we normally take the F-150 Lightning. It's large, it can fit all of our camera gear. If there's more than 2 people, it can accommodate all the people we need to take, plus all our gear. It stops and charges pretty quickly on the road. We can charge it up to 180 kilowatts. We can hit the road again pretty quickly. It has a really good range. It has semi-autonomous driver assistance features, and it's comfortable, I'm not going to lie. But for this particular road trip, we're taking this, which is my wife's 2017 Chevrolet Bolt EV. The reason? This is a road trip to head down to LA to see firsthand the 2026 Chevrolet Bolt EV. It's going to be styled, we know, on the Bolt EUV. We've seen pictures of it in the wild, not wearing camouflage, so we already know a fair bit about what it will look like. But hopefully this week, we're going to find out more about the technical specifications. We're going to maybe get a chance to drive it. And I figured, as this Bolt is now 8 years old, and the charging network landscape in the US has changed so much since I last took a Bolt on a long distance road trip, which was down to LA and back, it would be a good chance to see if it's still practical and worthwhile to take this older, shorter range per charge, slower charging EV on a really long distance road trip. Because these cars are now available on places like Facebook Marketplace and used car sites for as little as $7,000 or $8,000 US. And I want to know if for $7,000 or $8,000 you can buy a car that is practically capable of doing a long distance road trip. So it's nearly 8:25 in the morning. We need to be at our hotel in Sacramento by about 8 this evening. I think it's time for us to mosey on out of here. It has just gone 10:30. We've been on the road for 2 and a bit hours. We've just reached the outskirts of Eugene. We have covered 124 miles. We have just under 60 miles left to our fast charging stop, and everything's going really well. We stopped for coffee shortly after we got underway. I've literally just finished the coffee. I've been sipping it for the last couple of hours. And we're averaging about 3.4, 3.5 miles per kilowatt hour, which is very good. We'll come to that in a second. You'll note that I don't have my hands grasping the wheel. I am paying attention. I have my hands near the wheel. That's because we have a commerce system installed in this car that's running a special version of OpenPilot, and that is the Frog Pilot software. It's doing very, very well, very competently. It's the best Frog Pilot iteration that we've had. It's got a new driving model, and it's spot on. There are improvements now to the braking features of Frog Pilot, and there was one instance where the car slowed down and I just tapped the brake pedal slightly because the brake pedal or the braking system was braking and would have stopped me in time, but it would have left a very small gap between the car in front, so I just intervened and kind of covered the brake for the last, few feet or so. But other than that, it's handling all these curves just fine. It's kept us in the road. The lane change facility of this works like a dream. You just tap the indicator, and if the way is clear, the car will move over. The lane keep assist and also the speed assist has been spot on. We've been driving most of the time at or around the speed limit. And so that's one of the reasons why we've been able to make great progress. We have made it to our first charging stop, which, as you can see, is a Tesla Supercharger. Now, personally, this is not the company's opinion, this is my personal opinion. I try wherever possible not to give Elon Musk any money because the guy is doing some really destructive things in the world right now that I don't think we should be supporting. And by supporting the company that he runs, we are playing a part in supporting his astronomically ridiculous new pay deal. That said, this location is in Sutherlin in kind of central southern Oregon, and just across the way, there's an Electrify America charging station. However, as we pulled off the freeway, we could see that all of the EA stalls were in fact busy and full, and we are trying to maximize our time on the road and minimize our charging time. We do have an X adapter, and there's like 51 stalls here and most of them are free. So we did stop at a Tesla Supercharger. We plugged in. I think we had 5 or 6% in the battery when we plugged in. I apparently gave Vi a little bit of range anxiety. I gave my wife, who I sent a text message to when I said we arrived, a little bit of range anxiety. We did go into the orange. As I said though, we did that for a particular reason. We want to maximize the amount of time we spend on the road and minimize the amount of time we spend charging. And so we're going to be charging up to about 68, 69, 70%, and then we're hitting the road. The next place that a better route planner wants us to stop is also a Tesla site. And then after that, I think it's going to be a Rivian one. We'll see. We'll see what happens on the road. The next place it wants us to stop is in Medford, which is near as damn it the bottom of Oregon. There's a little bit more and then you're into California, but so far so good. This has been charging at a constant 50 kilowatts. It's gone up to like 52, 53 at times, but right now it's charging at 50 kilowatts. The cable is nice and cool. I can hold it and fine because this is water cooled to the inlet, and that's quite nice because it means you don't have to worry about, you know, an overheated cable. Direct sunlight and it's still cool to the touch. I'm being billed for this about 57 cents per kilowatt hour, I think, based on my cursory look, which is slightly cheaper in this location than the EA station if you don't have an EA membership. But if you have an EA membership, they're on price parity with one another, so not a massive deal from this side of things. I will say that the charging activated really quickly, which was really nice. It minimizes the amount of time we're sat here off the road before we can get back on the way again. The next section is going to be a real test of Frog Pilot and the comma system, because we're now hitting kind of the mountainous bit towards the southern part of Oregon. We're out of the valley that we've been traveling in for most of the morning, and then we're going to cross over through the mountains. And there are lots of quite tight turns on this section. I expect that comma and Frog Pilot will ask me to hold the wheel most of the way through, which of course I will do. But I'm very, very eager to see how it handles it. The last time I came through this pass with a car that had comma, I wasn't actually in that car. It was Kate Walton-Elliott's car, and I was in the F-150 Lightning. So let's see what happens. So far, the battery is nice and cool. I mean, it's about 80 degrees Fahrenheit, which is what, 20 something, a high 20s Celsius. So definitely not overheated yet. I think the fan has just come on. But other than that, there's nothing else really to report. We'll see you in a bit. It is now 2:37 in the afternoon, and we have just left our second charging stop. It was, again, another supercharger. The wonderful thing about that, though, was that I met the lovely Laurie and Dale, who were charging up there, and they are patrons of the channel. So hello, it was lovely to meet you. And although we were only there for, I think, 40 minutes, we were able to charge the car back. I think it was about 9% when we arrived, and it was about 60% when we left. I've noticed that the charger is tapering off earlier than I thought it would. So once we get past about 50% full, that's when the charge rate really starts to drop. But I know that, we are stopping between 60 and 70% at most of these locations. And I know that is making a sizable difference to our overall travel time. Right now, we are making good progress, and we're pretty close to crossing the border into California. As I kind of hinted, the last section where we went up through the mountains, I ended up doing most of that manually driving because there were just so many trucks, and that particular portion is basically pass after pass after pass, and a lot of those passes are just 2 lanes wide, and you very often end up with 2 trucks side by side trying to go up the mountain. And so it just ended up being a whole lot easier for me to just let the comma system take that particular leg off, and for me to do it myself. It wasn't necessarily a matter of not having the trust in the system. It just gave me a little bit more control over my energy management as I was doing that particular bit of driving. Right now, comma is back on and doing a lot of the driving. I also noticed that whenever Vi leans forward to get some of the lovely B-roll that you've been seeing, the comma system actually gets very upset and says I'm not paying attention. It somehow gets confused over who is the driver and who is the passenger, doesn't like that. So I turn that off when we do that as well. But right now, take my hands off the wheels, it's doing a pretty good job. The wind is very strong right now. It's a lot stronger here than it was back in Portland. And so the car is having to work a little bit harder to keep itself in the middle of the lane and pointing in the right direction. So I do feel like I'm having to help it a little bit more. But in terms of our estimated time of arrival, let's have a look here at my hotel for the night. It's saying we're going to arrive at the hotel sometime between 8:40 and 8:50 tonight. So it has slipped a little bit, but obviously this is using live traffic and weather data. It's also using my past driving experience and examining that. And right now we've got 54% state of charge. It says we're going to arrive at the next charging station, which is going to be a Rivian Adventure Network charging station with 11% state of charge. Once we get out of the mountains and back down the other side, I think we will be able to go further per charge. We will also have, I think, a little bit better idea of exactly when we're going to arrive at our hotel. Because there is charging at the hotel, there's a concierge charging and parking service. If you let them park your car, they will charge it for you, and I'm genuinely thinking about letting them do that tonight. There is quite a sizable parking fee. I think it's like $50 to park overnight, which is ridiculous. But this is not the hotel that we picked. This is a hotel that General Motors picked, and full disclaimer, General Motors is footing the bill, and I've been told, yep, we'll pay for your charging and your parking. So I think I'm going to take advantage of that, and that will mean that we won't need to make that final stop of the day. So I think we'll probably make the penultimate stop a little longer. I'll probably grab a light supper, and then we'll head to our hotel and call it good. And then tomorrow we'll be back on the road pretty early. As soon as I'm done with my gym, I will get up, shower, go to the gym. Well, get up, go to the gym, shower, have some breakfast, and hit the road bright and early. we'll see you at the next stop maybe. We are now at our third charging stop of the trip. We've done about 350 miles, which leaves us, 230, 250 miles to go. And we are in a place called Yreka. I've also heard people call it Yreka. I'm not local. I'm afraid I don't know which is the correct pronunciation. But I am at a Supercharger, and this was suggested to us by a Better Route Planner shortly after we left Medford. And we're coming down past the checkpoint, and the checkpoint's closed, and we're just talking about where we're going to stop next. And we were told by a Better Route Planner if we stopped here, we would save about 5 minutes on our trip, because that overpass there is the I-5. So it really was straight off, stop and charge. What makes this particularly interesting though is that this Supercharger has been installed. It's part of a California initiative to cover California with EV fast chargers. This is a 76 gas station. It's got one charging station over there and then 3 here. They've all got dual heads. What makes it special is you do not need an app. You do not need an RFID card. You do not need plug and charge. You literally just need the same payment method that you would use at a gas station, i.e. you can either swipe a credit card or a debit card, or you can do what I did, tap and pay with your Apple Watch. This is the first time ever that I have turned up at one of these units with a payment reader and just plugged in and started charging. This was actually faster for me than using a Tesla Supercharger, because with the Tesla Supercharger you have to get your phone out and you have to swipe through and start the app if you're a non-Tesla driver. The same thing obviously if you're using many other network charging stations, but this is literally turn up and pay. So kudos to California for getting this right. Kudos to Supercharger, a Skyview Ventures company. That worries me slightly, because obviously this was put in with some state funding, and my fear is that at some point in the future, what happens if the funding runs out? What happens if these network or non-network charging stations are not properly maintained and kept? But literally, this is a beautiful place to stop. There could be worse places to stop. It does mean that we're not going to be stopping at the Rivian Adventure Network on the way down, which I'm kind of a little bit disappointed about. But I think it also means we're at 54% right now. We've been charging for 20 minutes. I think it means that we'll be able to skip another stop on our trip and hopefully arrive at our hotel a little faster. A Better Route Planner told us we needed to charge to like 56%, and we're just about there. So onwards and upwards. We are back at another Tesla Supercharger. This time I seem to have stopped at the only Tesla Supercharger that has no good food choices nearby, that aren't massive all-American diner style places or very, very nasty gas station, dry gas station food. We had the latter. We shared a 3-piece meal and we didn't finish it. I had like 1.5 pieces and maybe 3 or 4 potato wedges. I think Vi had half a piece, right Vi? Yes. So that was a poor choice. So Red Bluff, if you are looking for places to eat in Red Bluff and you do not want to sit down and have like a month's worth of calories in one meal, there's a Sharry's there and a Denny's, but that's about it. So In case you hadn't guessed, I'm eating a lot less than I used to. And so my stomach fills up a lot more quickly. And so, yeah, that's why I didn't go to the big sit-down places. However, I think this is going to be our last charging stop of the day. It's getting dark. I don't think we're going to film any more tonight. The hotel is 140 miles, 130, 140 miles away. A better route planner wants me to stop one more time to charge. But frankly, I just want to get to the hotel. If we drive steadily, I think we'll get there in 2 hours, and then we can just check into our hotel and call it good for the night. Maybe we will end up stopping, but I'm definitely tired. So has the Tesla Supercharger network made a difference to this trip? In terms of being able to turn up and plug in and go, I think it will work. Yes. Could I have done it using other charging networks? Absolutely. Could I have met with vandalized charging stations along the way? Probably. But it's not really the fact that I've used the Tesla Supercharger network, it's the fact that there is enough choice available for me to pick a good place to stop along the way. Now, I could have gone over the road and used a charge point, but they are attached to a hotel. And in the past, when I've used charge points attached to hotels, sometimes the hotel staff have not been very welcoming of people just sat outside, which is totally understandable, charging. Our hotel has charging, complimentary charging. I say complimentary, we'll have to pay for it. But they have a valet park and charge service, which we'll make use of. And that's pretty much it. The car has behaved itself. Comma has behaved itself. We've used Comma for about, I would say about 75% of the driving, and I've done the rest. Tomorrow is going to be an easier day because we've only got 400 miles to cover instead of 600. I can't really think of anything else to say at this point. So good night. We will see you at the hotel bright and early in the morrow.
Umbrella weather, not a single cloud. I can see the storm give out. Why are you so tired? All the time. Can't see no more. Can't see no concrete now. I can feel it all around. A chronicle of people caving in.
Good morning, it is day 2. We are on our way to LA. We've been driving, I think, probably for about 25-30 minutes. We left the hotel about 8:10 this morning. The car was fully charged overnight thanks to the valet parking attendant team. They did a really good job. They made sure the car was fully charged before we left this morning. It gave Orion, that's the name of this car, a chance to properly charge its battery packs all the way up and to get those cells nice and balanced, and hopefully cool the pack down a little bit. And now the boring bit begins. If you haven't driven between Sacramento and LA on I-5, let's just say it's a very long, straight road. There are many trucks. And that's about it. We're basically going to be pointing in that direction for the next 7 hours, maybe. I'm hoping that we're going to arrive in LA sometime between 3 and 4 before the rush hour truly kicks off. I hate driving in LA, like with a passion. And the team, it's become a bit of a joke at Transport Evolved because the team's like, we can always tell when Nikki's been invited to LA because she starts getting angry before she's left. And look, I'm a country girl. I like being in the country. I like quiet country roads, not a million lane highways. Okay, maybe that's an exaggeration, but it's not a pleasant place to drive. And I know that when we get there, I'm going to have to turn off comma and manually drive because the skill required to keep yourself safe in traffic in LA, I think, is probably higher than what comma or Frog Pilot can provide. So right now I'm just enjoying the fact that we're going in a straight line and the car is taking care of everything, but other than that, there's not a lot to say. Last night we arrived at the hotel, I think about 8:45. I was in bed and asleep by like 9:30, which is great because it meant that I was able to get a good night's sleep. I was up at about 6:15, went to the gym, worked out. Great gym, by the way. Really looking forward to going there on the way back. Grabbed a coffee, headed out the door. I did grab a very unhealthy breakfast on the way out of Sacramento. But look, it's a great morning. We've got 25% is our estimated SOC when we arrive in our first charging point. We've used just over 11% so far of our battery. And if I hit this button here, this tells me where the next stops are on our list. So it's saying we're going to stop at 10:30 in Firebaugh, California. I don't know where that is. And then we're going to carry on, and the next stop after that will be, come on, wake up, Lost Hills in California. And then the last one, I think, come on, is Lebec. And then after that, we should be at our hotel. Come on. The cell phone reception around here is a bit bad, so let's see if I can, there you go. In Universal City, and it's saying we should arrive about 10:30. So I think that just proved that I need to put the new touchscreen in this Bolt. There's a big scratch at the top of the touchscreen, and it's slowly impacting the car's ability to respond to touches. On the way from our final charging station to our hotel last night, we had a couple of weird quirks. So the filler cap, I guess is what I'm going to call it, the cap for the charge port door, kept saying it was open when it wasn't, and I think that's just because the little plunger had got a little sticky and it was confused as to whether it was open or not. I kind of moved it around a bit, and that seems to have solved that particular problem. And then last night, the automatic headlights didn't immediately come on, and we ended up turning the lights on manually, then off manually, and then back to auto, and then they came on properly. So I don't know if this is just that Orion is an 8-year-old Chevy Bolt with 135,284 miles on the clock, or if we've had some critters. I mean, we live in the country. We've had some rodents get up in there and chew some wires, and maybe that's causing a potential issue there. I guess we won't know on this trip. But other than that, the car is behaving itself impeccably. The tyres have been good. I can't say the same for the road surface here in California. Some of the road sections here on I-5 are very, very bumpy because big trucks, not a huge budget. But given the fact that the US government shutdown is still in force, and I awoke this morning to news that multiple airports in California have had to partially or fully close their towers, and that was impacting how many planes could could arrive and take off at some airports in and around the region. I'm very glad that we're driving. I know it's going to take us longer, but at least it means we're not stuck in an airport wondering if our flight's actually going to leave or not. So, gaily forwards. We are on the penultimate leg now. We stopped at a Rivian Adventure Network charging station, and it was great. It was actually at the same place as a bunch of other chargers. So there was an EA station just across the way. There was a Tesla Supercharger just across the way. So we had plenty of choices to stop and charge. And the experience with Rivian was very smooth. We did have an issue when we plugged in. The charger didn't immediately start charging, and that was because we had to lift up the handle like you did on the old Electrify America charging stations with a Bolt. Obviously, the inlets chosen by Rivian for its Adventure Network are a slightly different design that is not 100% happy charging the Bolt unless you hold up that cable, but it worked great. It charged well. We ended up staying over an hour, and that wasn't for any reason relating to the car. It was just relating to the fact that K1, Elliot, and I did a live stream from that location, she back at her home studio and me on the road, and it just lasted for about an hour. So by the time we were done, that was a lovely F-150 Lightning in the original blue. Once that was done, the car was like at 90-something% or 89%. So we just ended up going, you know what? Let's just wait. I went and got a coffee, a small eat to bite, and now I'm barreling towards LA. There's really nothing else to report. I had to replace the remote control battery in my key fob because apparently it was flat. And that may have explained some of the weirdness we had earlier when we couldn't unlock the car at the hotel. But luckily it worked long enough for the valets to go and get the car, because that would have been embarrassing otherwise. But everything's good. Everything's working as it should. According to a better route planner, we're going to arrive at our penultimate, or in fact our last charging station in 138 miles or 2 hours and 17 minutes. We do have some alternative charging locations that we could visit, but I think we just want to get to LA and relax for the evening, and then tomorrow we shall look forward to finding out more about the all-new 2026 Bolt EV. And thinking about that now, I think having faster charging on the new Bolt would be wonderful. We have not spent an inordinate amount of time charging on this trip, but I do feel that it would be nice to have a little bit more charging capability in the new car. And I think if GM can up that charge speed to 150 kilowatts, I think that would suit most people's needs. Yes, it's nowhere near as fast as some cars on the market, but at the end of the day, we have to acknowledge that the Bolt nameplate is not meant to be a high-performance luxury EV. It's meant to be a family-friendly car, and one of the smaller EVs on the marketplace by the time it launches. And so it is going to have a smaller battery pack, and it is probably going to have a slower fast charging rate. Obviously, by the time you watch this, you'll know. So you'll be able to laugh at my comments and see how correct I am, or how terribly false I am, and how far off the mark. Onwards to LA. just passed the sign that says 50 miles to Los Angeles and it's 40 miles to our hotel. We are now at the top of the Grapevine, just about to go down into the valley for LA, and it's been a good trip. We're due to arrive around about 4 o'clock. It is currently 3:30, so hopefully we will miss the worst of the rush hour. We actually only charged today twice on the road. The first time we stopped, I filmed a hangout with Kate, and then the second time we actually stopped a little bit earlier than the car said we needed to, because I needed a break and it just felt like a good place to stop. And so we stopped and we charged, and we should get to the hotel, I think, with 14% left in our battery. There is charging at the hotel, so we don't have to worry about, you know, going and finding a charger in LA, which is always a pain in the bum for me. And that means on Thursday morning, we're going to be able to leave with a fully charged battery pack, head out of town as early as we can, and get back to Sacramento, where the temperature is hopefully a little bit cooler. It has been really hot in this southern part of California, like temperatures summertime in Portland in October. It just doesn't feel right, but that is the new normal. A couple of years ago, coming to LA in October, you got kind of, it was still t-shirt and jean weather, but it was pleasant. Now it's uncomfortably hot still. I'm questioning whether I brought the right clothes with me. Let's just leave it at that. But this is my favorite bit of the whole trip south, because we're going to go through a section where the road will switch over, and if you're going northbound, you're actually on the opposite side of the road to what you normally would be, and the same for southbound. And that's because there's only really room for one gradual gradient, and so they've made the climb up a more gradual gradient by switching the lanes over. So very shortly, in fact, probably just over this bit here, you'll see the northbound carriageway switch, and it will come underneath the southbound, and then the northbound will be on that side instead of that side. And as you can see, if you look straight ahead, we are just about to go through a really steep part of this. It's a 5% grade for 5 miles, and you see the trucks coming up over that bridge. That is the northbound carriageway of the I-5, so that's the point where the road switches over. And for like 5 or 10 miles, it feels like you're driving in England, because you're on the left instead of on the right, even though your steering wheel is still on the left, not the right, as it would be in England. But it's very good for regenerative braking. I mean, we came over the top of Grapevine, and the car said that it had, like 10 or 15 miles less range than it needed to get to our destination. But now we have 11 miles more predicted range than we need to get to our destination. And as we come down this hill, the car is going to just regen all the way. I think last time I came down here in the truck, we saw like 40 kilowatt regen. I don't think we're going to see 40 kilowatt in the Bolt, because it's a lot lighter. Right now we're regenerating at, we were regenerating briefly there at 11 kilowatts. There we go, 11 kilowatts, 10 kilowatts, which is a decent, a decent charge rate. Now it's gone back down a bit, but it will come back up again. And I'm not touching the pedal. That's all done with Open Pilot, Frog Pilot, and the car's cruise control. So I cannot complain. Unfortunately, a truck wanted to overtake another truck, and I had somebody in my blind spot, so I couldn't help them out. But we're now coming down through 2,000 feet. The peak of this is 4,000 feet. So we've got plenty of range to capture back. We're going to go to the hotel tonight. There's going to be just like a little informal dinner for those of us who have made it to LA on Tuesday, and then tomorrow is the official event. There you go, you can see the northbound carriageway over there. A couple of years ago, that whole kind of bit of road there was burnt away in forest fires, and they had to... It was down to one lane for a long time. In fact, I think, was it fully charged in San Diego? We had to come back through here, and we ended up having to drive through the night because they closed Grapevine to do repair work on this road. And we had to drive through the night and actually ended up at a hotel on the north end of this. But this time we're going down into LA. My ears are popping. And after we've had a chance to look at the all-new Bolt EV, we'll make our trip back to Portland. It's going to be basically the reverse trip. So we're going from here to Sacramento and then Sacramento back to Portland. Unfortunately, the Sacramento to Portland is the long bit. That's 600 miles. I think I will probably be getting Vi up very early that day so that we can leave quite early in the morning to try and avoid the Portland rush hour when we get back to Portland. But hopefully tomorrow will be pretty chill and Thursday will be pretty chill, and I'm sure I'll have lots of thoughts to share. But so far, so good. 948.2 miles. Add 33 miles to that and you'll know how many miles we've driven on the way down, and then we'll just repeat that on the way back.
I guess I thought you'd live forever. I always thought we'd be together. A lifetime of moments boiled down to a phrase. In an off chance I notice you show your age. Just a bird in a cage, too weak to sing again. There's a weight on my shoulders, I bet till it's over. You're in everything I do.
That's right, $1 for every kilowatt hour of electricity. Let's show you a vandalized FreeWire unit, because this is what they look like inside. The car, unfortunately, has continued to bug us with the charge port ajar message. We spotted what we think is a Kia Telluride driving up the Grapevine. That is a converted electric Honda Civic. It is, it just makes me so freaking happy. I think there's more forest fire damage. In fact, there is on the top of that hill there as well. It has started raining as I thought it would. So hopefully we'll cross over into Oregon before lunchtime. Probably the weirdest charging site that I have seen on our journey. Thanks for watching today. You can connect with us on Patreon, Discord, Mastodon, Blue Sky, or through our website. Massive thanks to the amazing folks scrolling by right now. You are the reason we can stay independent and keep making content without corporate influence. Want to see your name listed here too? Support starts at just $1.50 a month, and you can now even gift memberships. And of course, a massive welcome to our newest members: Adam B, Andrew Brown, Tiara Graves, Philip Jackson, Dieter Mulhop, Noor Naif, Annie Onimus, Todd Plenis, Barus Sharati, Andrei Starsky, Ralph Stoltz, Richard Teague, Triple A He They, Lisa Vargi, Vicky Morales, Magpie Motors, and Travis Whitman. Thank you for joining up to support the channel. At this particular time in history when everyone's feeling the pinch, we are so grateful that you've joined the team, and that allows us to keep making great content. If you'd like to join them, you'll find our Patreon link below, or you can sign up via YouTube. If you're signing up for Patreon though, please go to the Patreon website. Do not use the Apple or Google app, since both take a big cut that hurts your wallet and reduces the income we receive. Prefer a one-off contribution? We've got Ko-fi, Bitcoin, a PO box, our swag store, and even an Amazon affiliate link, all great ways to make sure your money helps us. We post new videos every few days on the main channel, plus extras over on TE Take 2. And since YouTube comments, while open, aren't safe for us, the best way to chat with the team is through Patreon, Mastodon, Blue Sky, or our website, or in fact, our Discord chat. If you want more, the mighty algorithm thinks you'll like this video, but we'd love you to check out this one instead. Be awesome, be kind, be intentional, and never forget to resist. Keep evolving.